Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Our guests are Michael Southgate and Victoria Sellers, and you'll see the luggage on the set was designed by Victoria. She collaged them, so we'll talk about that later. Michael Southgate is a director of the Adele Rootstein Company in the United Kingdom. He left his home in Suffolk, England at the age of 7 to go to school and continued his education till he finished with a degree in stage design from an arts college.
That's right.
That's right. Michael headed for London, where he appeared in the West End in many reviews and many different things. What were you doing there, Michael? It was all in the 60s and 70s, I guess.
That's right. I actually finished on the stage in '76.
What were you doing?
Mostly review, topical stuff, political humor, sometimes glitzy kind of girly shows.
Like a were you a stand-up? Like a comic?
No, not really stand-up. Review is slightly different. You know, it's mostly sketches mixed up with musical numbers and then the occasional production number, that kind of thing.
Sing and dance?
We did everything. None of it very well, but if you keep moving and the costume's good, you get away with it, you know.
Did you use your stage degree to help you? Instead of making the decor, you were in front of the...
Indirectly, it all helped because the costumes and stuff we used to design ourselves. I had a partner, and I think the stage training obviously helped you to do all of that. In the same way, when I went to work with Adele Rootstein, creating sets and costumes and backgrounds for the mannequins worked in the same way.
Oh, you started creating sets. Let's tell who Adele Rootstein was, and let's let our audience know. I'm very familiar because you've always been so kind. When I was curating fashion exhibitions, you would always loan us the mannequins.
That's right. Well, Adele was really a great innovator of display mannequins. You might think that that's not such an original thing to be. In actual fact, her mannequins were extremely original. Up to that time, they'd been mostly unreal creatures, terribly sophisticated, terribly elegant, but with a very unreal quality. But when the American journalists told us that London was swinging, because we didn't even know we were swinging until Americans told us that, a whole different kind of fashion scene came about, and the best mannequins in the world at that time were probably the American ones.
Oh.
But they were very upmarket, very much society ladies, Mrs. Babe Paley, styled a little like Greta Garbo, a little like Grace Kelly.
But the Americans were still picking people to model for their mannequins?
Well, they didn't actually say, this is Mrs. Babe
But
Paley.
the idea?
They took society beauties or actresses and they influenced the mannequins. But they didn't even attempt to be realistic. They were exaggerated and elongated like a fashion sketch.
I see. So Adele Rootstein became renowned for her designs or mannequins.
Well, how it happened was that once the American press came to London, they went to the back streets of Regent Street and Oxford Street, where the young designers coming out of the Royal College couldn't sell their clothes to the retail stores, so they set up their own little tiny shops, which were very cheap. They couldn't even let them to people, and they were selling it. And the American press discovered them there. Well, after the press found them, of course, the wonderful American retailer came right over there and bought all the merchandise. So suddenly, the avant-garde designers were in the mainstream stores in New York and Los Angeles and so on. About a year after that, the English fashion buyer decided, well, they must be onto something here, so...
We always thought we got it from London, but you were getting it from us.
Right. Really, as always with retail, the American market I mean, they're so professional. They discover these things. And so suddenly the designers, who, don't forget, they weren't Atlantic hopping in those days. It was an expensive thing to do. They hadn't actually seen their merchandise in Bergdorf's or in Beverly, Wiltshire or wherever. So they suddenly saw the clothes on these very tall, elegant society ladies. And of course they looked all wrong. They were mini skirts, they were caftans, they were wonderful Zandra Rhodes floaty things and Ozzie Clark's little whimsy things. And they just said, well, we're never going to sell this stuff. It doesn't look right.
I see.
And because Adele was already making stage props and other things for the theatre, they came to her and said, look, can't you make us a mannequin, something that will make our clothes look in the right way?
Is that right? So we influenced her in a way.
Absolutely. The Americans influenced the British market. And then the British designers came to us and said, can't you help us out? They just don't look right on these very upmarket ladies. And so we tried to, Adele herself did the first two, and they were pretty awful. But they, in fact, sold 100 or so. They looked like two friendly gorillas, really. I mean, we'd never made a full-size person before.
But let's talk about the process. What is the process? How you make it as a sculpture?
Yes, they're done exactly the same way that you would do a sculpture. The live model poses.
Here's the live model.
And it's done on an armature in clay.
Who's this?
That's Ute Lemper, who is a famous German cabaret star.
Here's one that really shows, I think, the whole...
Oh, that's George. He's a model boy, and he was in one of the latest menswear collections.
So this is totally...
That's his clay.
His
and
clay.
There's the live boy in front.
Yeah.
Now the clay gets cast into plaster, and the plaster can then be turned into fiberglass.
Oh, that's
it's
how
quite
you
a
do
long process. That's Yasmin Le Bon. That's Simon Le Bon's wife, who is also a very well-known model.
And he's the sculptor.
And that's John Taylor, our sculptor, who's the signature of the Rootstein style.
Do you use different... Oh, here's another live model. Do you use different sculptors?
Yes, we do use different ones, but our main signature look is the John Taylor's work.
I see. And then how do you pick the model? I mean, you're talking about Simon Le Bon and Ute Lemper, and I don't know who this is.
The majority, that's Pat Cleveland, who is
I
a
recognize
famous black mannequin of the model girl of the 70s and 80s. And one of the best, too.
And one of the best.
Yes. That's a face you might not recognize, but that's actually Joanna Lumley, who is now such a star in Absolutely Fabulous. But she was the model girl for Jean Muir at that time, and then became an actress doing Purdy in the Avengers series.
So you ran the gamut from actresses to singers to...
Well, the strength of the Rootstein collection are model girls. But the people that always get the publicity are the personalities and the actresses.
I see.
So,
and you can recognize them, because this, of course, you can recognize, Twiggy.
Well, that was our very first success. At the time I was telling you about, in the 60s, well, after we'd done the first two mannequins, Adele said, well, look, it's obvious if we're going to do this properly, we must get a professional sculptor. And so along came John Taylor, and from that we made another collection, still of fictitious people. They were not real people. And then Adele said, you know, this is crazy. If we're going to use a live model, we should use the people that are actually wearing the fashions of the time. And we did Pattie Boyd, who later married Paul Harrison and became one of the Beatles' wives, and other contemporary models of that time.
This is hard to tell, one
That's
from
a
the
look-alike
other.
couple. That's Michelle Lagarde with her own mannequin.
It's amazing. Now, one of the other fabulous things is that the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles actually launched a 30-year retrospective of these mannequins, the very ones you're talking about.
That's right.
Now, how did you pick that show, and did you curate it?
We didn't pick it. They picked us.
Ah.
Tony Hoberg and Jeannie Orphanik, who has the chair there, and Tony is the president of this wonderful college, they come to New York, bringing their students, showing them all the visual things. They run a visual degree program. So they bring a group of the most promising students and show them around all the showrooms and so on. They came into the New York showroom of Rootstein and just flipped out and said, this is wonderful, and how many of these? And I then got out photographs showing them over the years, all the different ones that we've done.
I'll show a few while you're talking,
Okay.
because they are wonderful, and when you come into Rootstein, it looks like an art gallery.
It does. It's a cross between an art gallery and a theatrical experience. I mean, it's not quite real. But it always has a very high fashion content and a slightly exaggerated one.
So what did they decide the show
Well, they're
should
very
be?
go-get-it girls. I mean, the minute they had the idea, they said, you've got to bring this to California. You know, we're a fashion capital too, and we make a tremendous influence on fashion, which is true. The California style is something that's quite unique, and it transcends the whole world. So from that beginning, it was over a year ago, we started putting it together, and it's great that we actually managed to mount it, and it's, I think you'll all find it very successful.
And one of the things that when we talk about a 30-year retrospective, we'll just stop on this. It tells what year it was, just by the hairdo, the whole
Well, you only
thing.
have to look at that to know that there's a lot of punk influence. And I'm sure you're familiar with Zandra Rhodes, the English designer. She turned punk into a couture fashion.
She really did.
And at that time, we did that. That's when the Lacroix collection came out in the, I think it was about 83, and suddenly we had something called New Couture. So that's rather an old-fashioned mannequin in attitude. You'll notice how affected the hands are. It's got a lot of style. And suddenly, with the New Couture, this much attitude was back in fashion.
Did the body styles change from 30 years ago to now? The
bodies-
actual height or different types of body styles?
The measurements of the model girls do not change very much.
Oh.
They all tend to be about 34, 24, 35. It's the body language that changes tremendously, and the way that it's achieved tremendously changes. In the 50s, 60s, well, the 50s it was a waspy, an uplift bra to get a more wasted, constructed kind of body. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, with Burn Your Bra of the 60s and see-through tops, and so everything just went oosh like that. That didn't last too long. At the moment, we're in a wonderful fitness thing.
Ah, yes.
Women have great bodies again, but they're not uplifted and cinched in. They're actually working out to achieve it.
So is that how your mannequins are now with the fitness?
Whatever they do, whatever women do, the mannequins have to do it as well.
I think you really brought this insight to us so that when we see mannequins in different stores or when you look at people, you start looking at the way their bodies are.
Right.
And I think the retrospective at Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, I always say it wrong, FITM.
Yes.
It's such a great school in downtown Los Angeles.
That's true.
And for them to be so forward-thinking and calling Michael Southgate from London to do this show and launching it here has been brilliant.
Well, it was the first major exhibition that we've had of our work, and we were very honored to be asked, and I'm sure it's going to be a huge success.
And I'm
it is a huge success.
It is a huge success, and I'm happy that you're with us. Thank you.
Bye.
I haven't seen you for a long time, and it's
Lovely
good
to see
be
you,
here.
Joan.
Don't go away, because we're going to be right back with Victoria Sellers. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and we're back with actress Victoria Sellers. Victoria's father is the late, brilliant English actor Peter Sellers, and her mother is the much-married Swedish beauty Britt Eklund. She came to Los Angeles from London at the age of 11, graduated from Crossroads, a school in West Los Angeles, and went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
Do you feel more English, American, or Swedish?
I sound American, but I'm not American in any way. I'm
Really?
English and Swedish.
You are.
I'm a British subject,
Why
but
did
I
you
sound American.
Why did you come to America to live in the first place?
When I was 11, I thought I'd come out here and start a business. No, my mom was dating Rod Stewart then, and they got engaged, and he decided we're living in London, and so I went too. I mean, we were living in London. He said, let's go to Los Angeles, and so we did, and I moved into his house with my mom.
Did you ever have a chance to live with your father, Peter Sellers?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
On lots of different occasions. I mean, it'd be like 3 months here, 6 months there, but not at one residence, like in France or at some other house he had rented in Beverly Hills or in Italy, someplace he rented, but like that.
Do you remember his movies? I mean, do you remember being with him all the time? Because you were quite young when he passed away.
I don't remember like inside the Chatter magazine on the back page is a photo of my dad holding me. I don't remember like back then, that when I was that little, but I remember, you know, because when he died I was 15, I remember, you know, very much of it.
Did you have any favorite movies of his? The very back page. Did you have any favorite movies that he was in that you remember? This is Victoria and her father.
That's just like a very lovely picture of me. My favorite movie of my dad's is I Love You, Alice B. Toklas. I love that movie. And I love The Party. I love What's New, Pussycat. I love Dr. Strangelove being there.
Oh, you can just go through and name them all. Does that mean...
I like all of those the best, more than the Pink Panthers, because the Pink Panthers, I mean, I love those, but they're too commercial for me, and I'm like a non-commercial type person.
Were you, because you were watching all these movies and being a part of them, did that put acting in your blood? Did you want to be an actress?
Oh, I wanted to be a movie queen. That's what I used to say when I was little. I want to be a movie queen. And my dad was like, okay, you're going to be a movie queen. So and he always felt like that I was the one that was going to carry on the tradition. So you fell more into your father's footsteps than your mother's? Oh, yeah. Did you go to acting class? Yes, several schools for several years. And did you go to a lot of auditions? Oh my gosh. Are you still going to a lot of auditions? I haven't gone to that many lately, but now again it's starting up. But yes, I've gone to a lot of auditions. I used to be so nervous when I used to go to them. Oh my God, I used to, right before I'd go in, I'd just think, why am I doing this to myself? I'm having a heart attack, oh my gosh. Were you with and then after I'd be like, that was nothing. Why did I have a heart attack over it? Were you with the same people all the time? I mean, you were a brunette then, because yeah, I've never been a blonde in my life. This is like a new thing for me, and I am having more fun. Are you? Yes. So did you go up against the same brunettes when you went to acting auditions? The same brunettes? I mean, the same kind of people. Did you see the same people all the time? In a couple of different auditions, yes, but not usually. And a lot of the times, it would be like if I'm auditioning for a TV show that's sort of like a comedy skit type of show, like Saturday Night Live, the show that I want to be a regular on. Right. Is that what you aspire to be? Yes. But shows like that, and I'd go and audition, and I'm in the room with the casting directors, and they say, oh, we loved your dad in this part of this movie. He was great in this certain part. And then I'm like, oh, all right, now I can just do my scene. And is that hard? Yeah, that's hard. That's like, I'm not him, and so don't expect that. Yeah. I didn't get it. I would think that would be hard. I have a picture that you brought me. Since you're a blonde, I know. And your mom's a blonde. This is a very current picture. She's natural, I'm not. This is like the first time now that I look like my mom now, but usually my hair is brown and I look like my father. And but that's current. One thing that your mom is very young and you're very mature. Did you ever clash about dating the same guys, or when you'd bring somebody home, was there any kind of mother-daughter competition? Oh, on that, no. But like when I was like 17 or 18, I wanted my boyfriend to spend the night, and my mother was like, no way in my room, which, you know, I knew was like, all right, thought I'd just ask, even though I knew the answer. And he'd have to sleep in my brother's room. she would like strictly enforce that, and she would come and check too.
So she was
if there
pretty
was, like,
strict then with
oh,
you,
she
even though
was
you were
like
mature.
strict. Like what she said, I did, and I do.
And you still do.
Yeah, I mean, people that speak to their parents like, you know, in a manner that you would not speak to your parents. My mom, I mean, I'm like, yes, Mama, yes.
And she wrote a book. You
Yes,
brought
she
the
did.
book.
She wrote her first novel called The Sweet Life, sensational novel, and this is my mother, gorgeous mother on the back. And they say you're going to look like your mother when you're older, and so I have it made.
That's great. I'm going to leave this part up so we can see her. You were around a lot of rock and roll people, too. You mentioned Rod Stewart, and Lou Adler, I guess, was in your life. Did you ever think you'd be a rock and roll singer or a musician of some sort?
I mean, I would love to like sing, but I can't.
Did you play an instrument?
No. I took piano lessons when I was in boarding school, and I did that really well, but I didn't carry it on. So, but I was in a band when I was like 15 in a punk rock band called Hollywood Trash, and so I was on a cable show also, and I was the lead singer. And for the kind of music it was, my voice was fine for that.
I remember you told a story once. You climbed out of your window and
Oh my God!
hitchhiked to Hollywood.
Yep, I used to my mom we lived across the street from the Bel Air Hotel on Stone Canyon, and I used to like go like in my robes or like, "Night, Mom, I'm going to sleep now." You know, like you don't say that, announce it. I'd be like, "Good night, I'll be in bed, so don't bother me," and then stuff my bed, pull the slats out of my window, crawl down off the roof, jump off, climb over the gate with a kitchen knife, and like only like twice I hitchhiked to the Starwood in Hollywood, and that's where like I would go and hang out.
And I think
and that's where I met Rodney Bingenheimer.
And that's where our set designer Slab used to see you
Slab?
too. Slab on our camera. He knew you from there. He knew Hollywood Trash.
I used to go there and think like I'm really cool because I used to just come back from London with all the like new punk rock whatever clothes, and I used to be really good friends with Rodney Bingenheimer.
You
I
know,
don't know, it was fun.
The tabloids have really been cruel to you.
Really?
Yeah. Does it matter to you, or does it just roll off your back?
It matters. It matters a lot. I mean, it hurts for a minute, but then there's nothing I can do, and so I just have to learn to just forget it. And then most of the time I don't read it. So people tell me, and I'm like, oh, I didn't read it because I just don't want to. But I just cannot believe some of the things people write about other people. It's disgusting. It really is.
When you were the cover story, when you were a brunette.
When I was a brunette.
Chatter magazine, and they were rather kind to you. The editor, Michael Roche, I think, has been a great friend of yours.
He's been one of my best friends since I was about 20 years old, 19 or 20 years old. I used to buy his fabulous creations.
He was a wonderful designer.
Oh my God, yes he was. And now
he's probably still is.
Yes.
Now he's the editor of this magazine. He did a wonderful...
that magazine is beautiful, and my cover is great, and the inside, everything in the inside is great.
Here you are.
I love that. Everybody thinks that that's Audrey Hepburn at Tiffany's, and I'm like, no, that is me outside of Tiffany's.
That's a great picture. Alex Newhall took it. It's wonderful. Will you be
Michael
working?
did the best article. I mean, nobody has ever like written an article when they've interviewed me and put it like I came out across. Like he put yup, like if I said yup, and
so you felt
everything
very
I said
comfortable.
he put word for word, and I felt like I really liked that.
That's great. Are you going to be writing for the magazine?
Yes, I'm going to be writing for the magazine, featuring designers, artists, new stores that are really great, comedians, singers, famous people, and I'm also going to style photo shoots.
And what else are you going to do? Do you want to be do comedy? Are you you have another film
Not really.
project? I
no,
think.
of course I do. Oh
Don't
yeah,
you?
I'm doing a part in a movie called King Solomon, which is about the porn industry. And Tracy Lord's in it, and Ron Jeremy, and James Belushi. I will not be nude in it.
Have you ever?
It's rated R.
Have you? I was going to say, have you ever been nude in any movies?
No.
No, you're just throwing that out for us.
Yes, because the porn industry. Yeah, it's about a movie about the porn industry.
Well, if you do stand-up comedy, do you write it yourself?
Oh, I don't do stand-up, but comedy skits I can do like really easy.
Do you write them?
Yeah, I sort of tape them more than I write them because I don't like write them and then that's how I do them. They just happen, like in my house when I'm with a friend or something. So and I had a new one come up last night that I'm going to use as a comedy skit.
Do you use any of these as props? I think these are fabulous.
These are I have a luggage line coming out.
Ah.
It's called Something Old and Something New. And they're old leather luggage that I fix up, and I put antique decoupage stickers. I have to glue them on, or travel stickers. And I do just about any kind of case, huge trunks. And I don't sell them in stores. You have to like custom order them, but there will be an ad in Chatter coming up with an 800 number where you can order them custom made for whatever you want.
Really? Oh, that's
And I make
fabulous.
just about everything.
That's fabulous. So we'll look for Chatter, we'll look for your 800 number, and
look for me on Saturday Night Live soon because I'm going to be a regular. I am.
We're going to look for
And
that.
my book I'm writing.
Oh, in your book too, right.
My Life in the Sunshine, about my life.
Great. Thanks for being with us. Keep riding to 520 South Grand, and we'll see you next time.